loves Diamond Dental in Cedar Rapids and Big Dog Tech Solutions. Here's Tom Suter and Pat Harty from HawkFanatic.com.
I did not.
Take it away.
Yes, we're here.
Yeah.
We're here.
I'll apologize. I took my meds too late last night.
Yeah?
I was supposed to take them at noon because they make you goofy. And
You're always goofy a little bit.
Apologize for what? I mean, you're here, you're talking. I mean, it's, as usual, you're here and talking. So what are you apologizing for?
It's just I'm off a beat. Okay. It's tired, but I'll go home and go to bed.
There you go.
And then you'll call me up.
Yeah, because I call he makes it sound like I call like twice a week.
He calls every day.
I call like once every 6 months.
No,
you do. You exaggerate so much.
You call.
Is this one of those things you call a bit?
14 times.
Possibly.
Okay.
14 times.
Yeah, I mean. Lots of times I'll call you because he doesn't answer his phone sometimes. I mean, he's like, he just goes dark.
Yeah.
And I need to
off
get
the grid.
So like if I want to find out if I'm coming into the show or something, lots of times I'll try him first and have to go to you because like he is off the grid.
Yeah, you're off the grid.
I try to stay off the grid after I leave here. I do.
Where'd you get that hat?
I don't know.
I don't think you've worn that before, have you?
It's 100 times.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I never.
I like it.
No,
yeah,
I like it.
I do too.
Yeah.
Have Karin on so we can start talking about last night's game.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Hi.
Hello. Hey, when was the last time the women missed 9 free throws?
I don't know, but it sure didn't help us any.
Nor did
I couldn't believe it. And it wasn't just one person. It was a disease that was caught by all.
The 18 turnovers didn't help
you. No, they didn't.
At 92 now and 4 losses.
And Illinois, what is it? 2 of their top players are out for the season.
Correct.
So that's a game we should have had.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So anyway,
but Illinois is probably saying that's a game they should have had.
And they got it.
I thought Penn State was going to run away with the football, and then all of a sudden Notre Dame woke up.
Well, Notre Dame played a better second half.
Yes, they did.
And then at the end, the guy blindly throws the ball. If you're going to blindly throw the ball, you throw it out of bounds.
Well, he said he was trying to dirt it. He knew where he was throwing it. He wasn't blind. He just threw it higher than
he wanted to throw it at the guy's feet, he said.
Yeah, he said trying to dirt it is what he said. So, yeah, he threw it higher. And the Notre Dame guy made a great catch.
Well, it was a great catch.
It was a great catch. A lot of D-backs would not make that catch.
Well, anyway, let's hope that the women can come back this Sunday.
Well, they need to protect their home court. The next 2 games are against teams that they should be able to play.
Who's in Indiana and who else?
Indiana and Nebraska. And Nebraska's good, too.
Well, Nebraska's good. Yeah, they're both good. Yep. Red and white.
Yeah. And see, we're saying, they should win these games, but we don't know because we don't know what this team is right now.
But they're both at home, so.
But what if Iowa's not very? What if Iowa turns out to be not very good this year? That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. We don't know. We're sitting here saying they should win these games. What the hell? We don't know what games they should win, and I've been saying it too. We don't know. I mean, Nebraska's probably saying, "Hey, this is a road game that if there's a road game we can win, this is it. Clark's gone. This team's nothing like they were last year."
Sure.
I'm just giving you the other mindset.
No, you're right.
I think sometimes we just get this.
Well, I'm not sure who in Nebraska graduated because they were a real good team last year.
Yeah, and then Iowa beat. Well, Iowa beat them with Kate.
Jazz Shelley is gone. Let's see, Nebraska. The other gal, she was a great freshman last year, blew out her knee, and she's not playing. So no, they're going to be a challenge.
I don't know what their record is. I don't know what Indiana's record is. I haven't followed.
Well, Indiana is 3-1. Nebraska is 3-2.
In conference play?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, for us to assume that Iowa should win this game because we're at home, we don't know.
But our overall record is basically the same as Indiana has 4 losses. Washington has 4 losses. Nebraska has 4 losses.
Beat. Who is it that beat them? Is that USC?
USC.
USC probably will go around and beat. They've got that Juju Watson.
Watkins, yes.
Watkins.
Yeah, Juju's something.
She's quite the player. She'll probably be another Caitlin Clark.
And last year, Kiki was Kiki Iriafen, and this year's evidently she's Kiki Iriafen. Or Iriafen. There's a different pronunciation. So, there you go.
Well, like I said, let's hope we can do something. And the men, let's hope that they can come along and play as well as they did the other night.
We hope so. We do hope so.
Okay, well, I guess I'll watch on TV.
Yeah.
Trump's telling everybody he's innocent, so.
Sure. All right. Thanks, Karin.
See you. Bye.
Karin bringing up Trump.
Yeah, wow.
Politicizing Hawk Fanatic. She's politicizing it.
Meow.
People are going to call us woke and
woke.
But yeah, you still can't overreact. They're 2-3. I mean, I was looking at the comments on X underneath Iowa's final score tweet, and it's just, oh God, Jensen's not the answer. I'll just complete overreact.
Yeah, come on,
Start
folks.
the freshmen. I mean, the freshmen aren't the answer. Yes,
freshmen were not very good.
They've
last
got a
night.
good freshman class. There's hope for the future and everything. But to say that to put the freshmen in as it's just overreaction by people that just always think something that's not there and being used is better than what's being used when what's being used isn't producing what they want. It happens all the backup quarterback.
No, you're
the same
right.
thing. The freshmen didn't play very well last night.
No, they didn't.
I mean, they started Aaliyah Guyton. They wanted to adjust to matchups. They started Guyton. She played 15, 16 minutes. She didn't have one of her better games.
But Hannah at the 5 played well.
Yeah, and Hannah at the 5, but they
Nice
can't
double-double.
survive with Hannah at the 5 against some teams. They'll get killed size-wise.
No, that's true.
But this was a matchup thing last night. Illinois wasn't as big, and so. But yeah, I mean, I just don't think it's time to panic yet and to write off Jensen. And I mean,
No, of course not.
hey, there was going to be some struggles when you're replacing the greatest offensive player in the history of women's college basketball, who had the ball in her hands 90% of the time. Life without Caitlin was going to be hard at times. That's what's going on right now.
There's always time to panic.
Yeah. Isn't there a band called Widespread Panic?
Yes. Yeah. There's.
And it's
Panic at the Disco.
Yeah.
it's not just panic, but it's widespread.
Yes.
You play them?
Yes.
You play Widespread Panic on this thing?
Yes, we
so
do.
I could request why I wouldn't know one of their songs if I heard it.
And we play Panic at the Disco. Who's
Panic
good.
at the Disco.
How about System of the Down? Do you play them?
No.
What about that name for a band?
Yeah.
See, I'd never even heard of them until you guys were talking about
They're
them.
pretty popular, aren't they?
Just
months
because
ago.
you're off the grid.
Yeah, you're off the grid.
Yeah, could be.
If you get on the grid,
Isn't it? Aren't they pretty popular? System of the Down. I mean, I've heard of them.
they are, I guess, but I don't. I've heard of them. I've never played them.
But I'm guessing they've sold a lot of albums over the years and probably made a lot of money.
Everybody does.
You don't play Slipknot either, and they're pretty popular.
Sure. No, we don't play.
Oh God, I've listened. I've never That's one I've never understood. Have you ever heard Slipknot, Suter?
Yes, it's too heavy for me.
Actually,
I don't know what
Way
it
too
is.
heavy for me.
I don't know what it is.
I got the lead singer of Slipknot on the phone.
Well, the lead singer used
Right
to.
now?
Yep.
Well, I'm going to one up you. The lead singer
Yeah.
used to live about 6 houses down the street from my sister in Des Moines.
Did they,
Well, no, I mean, my sister's
Hello.
older and married with. I mean, no, Jesus.
Hello.
No. Could have been a
you
younger
never know what
sister.
I'm getting into on this show.
We don't know.
I don't have a younger sibling. They're all older than me.
It's Adam Haluska.
Oh, it is Adam.
Oh.
Okay, all right. Okay. Yeah, Adam,
Adam.
we never know what we're getting into on this show. But thank you for
Never
calling in,
know.
Adam Haluska. Unfortunately, we're not talking under the best of circumstances after, I don't know if you have Big Ten Plus. Were you able to watch it?
Yeah, part of it. We had a varsity game last night for my daughter, but I was tracking right along with it, and then, we've got Big Ten Plus.
Did she do well? Did your daughter win?
They won, yeah. They beat Monticello, so.
All right.
Well, let's break that. We'll break that one down first, then we'll get to the women. No, I'm kidding.
How did she do at the free throw line?
She was 1-1.
All right. There you go.
Iowa could have used her last night.
Yeah.
Well, we were talking. I mean, there's a lot of panic and a lot of overreacting. Start all the freshmen. Jan's not the answer. I mean, what I was saying to Tom is, I just think sometimes we don't realize what replacing, and Kate and Gabby too, but what replacing Caitlin Clark is all about.
Yeah.
And last night was a game where we saw what replacing Caitlin. She had the ball in her hands. Well, just talk about that challenge that they're facing, Adam.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of new faces. I mean, we got some that returned, but when you're playing a lot of freshmen, they're new. This is brand new for a lot of these girls. Some of them have some really significant roles. I mean, Aaliyah Guyton ends up starting last night. And again, we got to remember, she had an ACL tear, just really came back kind of early part of November, to be fully cleared. And she's had some really big moments as a young Hawkeye. But, yeah, I mean, when you've got the all-time best player, in my opinion, in women's college basketball, that was creating offense and was making everybody else's life a little bit easier because she just created so much attention.
Yep.
I mean, we turned the ball over last year, but some of these are kind of careless turnovers. When we got down on with Maryland, I think at one point the stat came up, it was like 12-2 on steals. Well, a lot of those steals were leading to easy run-out layups, and then we're having to grind on the other end to get a bucket. I think we're fine. Again, it's a young group, kind of like what I was saying. You got a lot of new faces, and this is a whole new role for everybody, and everybody's got to kind of adapt. But it's going to be a great program. You can tell there's excitement there. We just, there's little mistakes. Don't turn the ball over, make free throws. You win a couple games this week.
Adam, I agree with you. I think they're going to be fine. But my expectation coming in, and Tom, I said this. I said if Jan gets them to the NCAA tournament at 10-8, to me, that's a great season. If you get to the tournament, life after Caitlin Clark, Kate Martin, Gabby Marshall, Molly Day, to me, just getting to the tournament. I didn't have this team winning the regular season title this year. I didn't have them winning the conference title. Maybe they will, but I'm not ready to give up on that yet. But do you think that's a fair assessment for Jan's first year? If she gets to the tournament, that's a pretty good coaching job.
No, absolutely, especially with as many new faces.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of experience that was on the floor. And, again, it's easy because, we as fans expect a lot even out of these freshmen because we've seen a lot of good things early on in the season. But at the same thing, we got to go back and realize, hey, they're only freshmen, and we got a whole slew of them, on this team. Everything is new. Everything they're trying to institute and input and, scout. And, they're mature players. But it's just going to take some time, And, again, I think we got this ball rolling with recruiting and everything else. We're going to have some really good players coming in. We just got to, continue staying positive. And probably, to your point, we're going to win some games that we probably shouldn't, and we're going to lose some games that we probably shouldn't. And in the end, I think it'll even out to be about where we should be. And if we can make a tournament run and surprise some people, you just never know.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Like I said, 10-8 or 11-7 were kind of the records that were sticking in my head. And the thing with Caitlin is she had the ball in her hand 90% of the time. Now they have multiple players with the ball in their hands at different times, so that's multiple players committing turnovers. And see if you understand. Caitlin also didn't she sort of absorb turnovers for the team, Adam? She took a few turnovers because of the way she played, but other players didn't have to worry about that. Does that make sense to you, what I'm saying?
Yeah, she was playmaker. And, I think a lot of times, too, just her, whether it was in transition, right, she'd take that chance, make some of those incredible long-court passes, or, just even on the half-court side, she'd try to thread the needle, and she could do it. But, again, I think to your point, when you're a playmaker like that and the ball's in your hands all the time, she's absorbing a lot of that. She's having to play make for other people. And
yes.
I think Sid and some of those girls even kind of attested to it, like, hey, last year was a little different. I didn't have to, it just naturally I would be open or, she had a good rhythm with Caitlin, especially their end of the season. Now you throw in a whole different point guard, whole different, lineup. It's all, every single person out there has a different role. And again, I think some of the basketball that we ran, especially early in the season, I liked our offense. I think it's super clean.
I do too.
We get some good looks. I think even the Maryland game, we missed a lot of bunnies, in that second half and made the run when we needed to, but didn't have enough time. And, you look at last night, I think you make free throws on the road and, we were 5 of 20 from three-point land, which isn't great, but 8 of 17 from free throw land. You've got to make those to give yourself a chance to win.
Well, the other thing Caitlin did, she'd always make, even nights where she didn't shoot that well, she'd still usually make somewhere between like 3 and 7 threes in almost every game they play. Right now, they rarely got beat from the three-point line when Caitlin was playing. Now that's happening a lot. And like I said, there's no magic formula for this. Jan's going to say that. They just got to play better. Free throws, I didn't think that would be a problem this year, but I was concerned about three-point shooting coming into the season.
Yeah.
And right now, would you say that's a concern, Adam, or do you think
I don't think we're the threat, obviously, that we have been the last 4 or 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And arguably Caitlin was a part of that, but also I think too she created a lot of good shots for
Gabby
on the perimeter.
And Kate
too. Yes.
Yes, and they just she would suck that defense in, and then she was so good at making passes and finding somebody out on the perimeter, and they were getting wide open shots, and they were confident. But now, like even Lucy, I think there's times where I think she's a little hesitant. She's got a great mid-range game, and I just think some of them, we can shoot it, but just right now it's not been a strong point for us. But again, I think we've got enough talent. You've seen some of those games early on when we've gotten hot and knock a whole bunch of threes down. It's there. We got to get some of these girls to get their confidence back and get going.
And I will say, from a veteran standpoint, Feuerbach, Allfalter, O'Grady, they got to play better. Wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
I mean, they got to. I mean, this team and Jan. I heard her interviews coming in here this morning, driving in. She's saying, "Yeah, our youth has to play better, but we need that veteran leadership to step up." Would you? Yeah. I mean, you agree with that, Adam? I mean, Addie's had moments, but Sid. To me, Sid just hasn't really gotten on track like she was last year. But maybe she was a product of Caitlin. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Well, the Iowa State game, it was kind of like a switch happened.
It was.
There's another one that kind of started this season off with an injury and had a minor surgery on her knee, and it took a little time. But then you saw kind of a glimpse at Iowa State when she just had that big second half and made some really, really key buckets. Again, I think it's there, but I'm with you. I think Jan is probably trying to motivate those seniors and upperclassmen and say, hey, listen, you've been here, you've done this. You got to start pulling these younger ones in, and you got to play better, and it's not being critical, but it's being realistic, and that happens at any level. Even when I played, like upperclassmen, it's going to fall on you because you've done this. It's hard to be really critical of freshmen. Again, when last year at this time they're playing on their high school team.
No, you're right.
If you're Aaliyah Guyton, right? You're injured and you haven't played, ball in 10 months. It's one of those where with the expectations, you got to make sure those seniors are doing the right things, game prepping the way they should, mentally being ready to go, and pulling everybody along with them.
And as great as Lisa Bluter was, and I'm one of her biggest fans, I don't think they would be 5-0 if Lisa Bluter was the head coach.
No.
Do you? I mean,
no.
I don't want to minimize what she did or anything, but you know what I'm saying. I just think people right now, well, Jan's not the answer. It's just, I mean, this is a grind. This was not going to be easy year one after Caitlin.
Well, we got to remember too that 2 years ago, Illinois
beat Caitlin.
Caitlin's team,
and then she had like 30 points in that game, and they still lost.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of parity. I mean, women's basketball right now, there's a lot of good teams out there. And again, if you're not sharp, and I think our biggest hurdle this year has been turnovers.
Yes.
You kind of alluded to that, and the 3 losses and I don't know, was it 90 plus turnovers?
Well, it was 30 against Tennessee, 23 against Michigan State,
53.
Yeah, and then
18 last night.
18. I counted. It's 92 by my counts. That's an average of that's over 20 turnovers a game in the losses.
And I know the staff has got to be sick. I mean, those are kind of unexcusable. At some point you've got to start handling that ball. We got ball handlers. We got girls that understand. I think sometimes we're pressing a little bit, trying to force stuff where it's not. But we've got to take better care of the ball, especially when you play good athletic teams. They're gonna get points off those turnovers, and it's hard. It's hard to come back from that.
Guyton had 4 turnovers. You watched. What were they? Were they passes? Did she get the ball stolen?
Both.
Okay. I mean,
I think maybe she's just not quite ready. She hasn't played very much, as Adam said. She just came off a terrible injury, and she just isn't quite back to where she needs to be.
So, Adam, do you think that was more? I didn't hear what Jan said. I'm guessing that was kind of a matchup thing. Yeah, you're rewarding her for playing, but to me, it was probably a matchup thing too. Illinois. I mean, maybe O'Grady's size wasn't what they needed in that particular moment. But, I mean, she did come out, and it looks like from the stats she didn't play very well. Is that fair to say, Tom?
Yes.
And I looked at the other freshman stats. It didn't look like any freshman played very well.
No, they didn't.
But that's
I think sometimes, too, it's to give yourself another look. And
sure.
I always put the trust in the coaches. They see, whether it's football, basketball, you name it, they're seeing these guys every day in practice. I'm sure she's doing some really good things that they like and they're excited about. And we're getting to see that on the court. And maybe it's one of those to try to give her a little boost, or to your point, matchups. Hey, it's better to go quicker, smaller, just give a different feel. At the end of the day, O'Grady and some of them are still going to play significant minutes, but it's what kind of look do you want to throw out there, and and see if you can take advantage of. But yeah, that's a tough one. And again, she's from Illinois, right, Peoria area, so maybe a little hometown, home state deal to get her motivated. But yeah, I'm with you. We can't get too far down as Hawkeye fans, and I'm not. I like, to your point, I understood that we were going to have some up and downs, and it was going to be good days, bad days. But at the end of the day, I think the goal should still be get into that tournament.
Just get to the tournament.
Get a decent seed, right? If you can, even if you're 8, 9, 10 seed, you just never know what can happen, and win a game or two, and everybody's opinion changes pretty quick.
Yeah, they probably won't be hosting this year. I hope I'm wrong.
Doesn't look
I mean, Iowa fans have gotten really used to hosting the NCAA tournament when you're in the tops, but that could be a stretch this year.
Yeah.
And hopefully I'm wrong.
Now, Adam, there was a point last night in the game. Iowa was ahead 29-20. We were playing well. We were in good shape, and then we hit one of those stretches where we couldn't do anything.
Illinois scored the last 7 points of the half.
And that's happened too frequently this year, and I don't. What do you do to get out of those stretches?
I know she's trying to run some set plays and get some stuff at the rim. You got to take care of the ball, and you got to get good quality shots. I think in some of those moments you got to get the ball to Hannah, let her try to make a play or get fouled. Same thing with kind of Lucy. Get it into your playmakers, let them try to make a play. But those runs happen quick, and especially with some of these, especially women's teams that can shoot the 3 ball, you can be, up 9 and down 2 in a blink of an eye.
Yep.
Same thing in the men's game. So I think some of those you just got to get good quality possessions, and I still say it, don't turn that dang ball over.
Yeah.
Just bad things happen, and especially with us, if you have 1 or 2 turnovers that lead to layups or easy buckets or and ones, it's just not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of season left, though.
Oh,
I'm not gonna panic. Like I said, I thought I had somewhat realistic expectations. Still think they have a chance to make the tournament. Let's shift to the men now. Huge game tomorrow against Indiana. We haven't spoken yet since the last time we spoke to you. They had the debacle up in Wisconsin, and then they bounced back against Nebraska. Did you watch the Wisconsin game? And if you did, what'd you think of the defense?
For one, I didn't know Wisconsin could score over 90 points.
I can't. They are playing a different style this year.
When I was growing up, and even when I played, it was a grind it out, slow it down. That might have been one of the craziest games I've seen. And granted, our defense could have been a lot better. They played really well. That's a boatload of points, in a collegiate game with no overtime.
It was
doesn't
incredible.
Even seem realistic.
Yeah, I mean, and it just kept coming. And then you heard the remarks by Kamari McGee after the PlayStation, and that you would like to think it would motivate the Iowa players, and it did. We had Drew Thilwell on 2 days ago, and he said, that. Now they still didn't play that great a defense against Nebraska until the very end in overtime, so they still got work to do. But remarks like that, Adam, what can that do for a team?
I would definitely take that to heart. When I saw that, I said right away, I'm like, that's good. I'm glad he said something.
I remember thinking the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because, that's something that Fran and the coaches and everybody can kind of put out there. The guys see it. They would have seen it that evening. But that would have been my sticking point at practice. Your defense was a joke.
Mm-hmm.
According to them, they knew you weren't going to play. They knew you weren't coming out and guarding. That's not acceptable, especially on the road. And so I think I would go back to even that Iowa State game. I thought we played extremely well defensively, offensively. We've got it in ourselves to play at a high level. They just have to buy in every possession. And I think it happens naturally. It doesn't matter if it's NBA, college, high school, little kids. When you're making shots and things are going well, defensively you tend to pick it up or play better. We've got to do a better time when those stretches happen when we're not making shots and we're not playing well. We got to lock down on defense just like we've shown that we can do, get stops, get rebounds, and then let's run. But yeah, again, I'll be honest, Pat, I didn't think you could score that many points in a collegiate game unless you're Loyola Marymount or one of those kind of teams.
What was incredible about it, though, there were times where the Wisconsin guy could have looked at the ball, spun it, looked at,
I know.
There was just no I've never seen a time when Iowa's rotations and help defense was as bad. And the thing with Iowa, too, Adam, they play so fast that they force themselves to play more on defense because of possessions. Doesn't that make a difference, too?
I totally agree. I love to run, and I think we're really good in transition. And,
I do, too.
Fred even said that, too, with Nebraska. I mean, Iowa, when they get going, it's fun to watch. But on the flip side, when things aren't going well, it speeds that game up, and our defense is so lackadaisical they're getting too many easy buckets and open looks, and that, to your point, you got to get out in pressure, you got to make it difficult. I'd be okay at the clip that they were making threes, at least run them off and have them make something else other than a three-point
Yes,
shot.
Do something different. But,
I mean, you had guys.
And again, at some point, you just as a staff got to say, hey, I don't want to see a three. If the three comes off, your man, you're coming out. You've got to run them off the three-point line.
And you had guys making three-pointers, I think, that probably had never made a three-pointer in their lives, and they swished them.
I mean, you had fans wanting to get in that game.
Oh,
this year.
yeah.
It was not good. But It was one game. You move on. Now, tomorrow's matchup, it's if Indiana's making threes, I mean, you can say that about any game. But the big guy from Arizona, he's a problem. Have you seen him play? The transfer.
Yeah, he's hit some big games. Last two games, 25 and 23 points.
Yes.
Averaging, close to 15 in points, almost 10 rebounds a game, 2 blocks. Like, he's a force. And, again, I think when you look at us, obviously I'm really confident in Owen Freeman. He's one of the best centers in the league. He's got to be able to guard that just little bigger body. And, again, we've got to slow Ballo down to have success in that game.
Don't they also maybe throw Bronze in there for a few minutes just to maybe pick up a foul that Freeman doesn't get? Maybe even Riley Mulvey, give him just because my biggest worry, of course, is Owen picking up 2 early fouls against a guy bigger and stronger than him. Could you see that maybe happen? Okay, Riley, get in there and give us 3 minutes. Could you see that happening?
Yeah, I think you're going to have to. And again, I think to your point, we got to keep him out of foul trouble.
Yes.
And again, Fran's got that rule, right? You get 2, you're sitting. Some of these we may have to stretch him out a little bit. It's pretty hard line that he's drawn, even with the Murray boys and everybody else. But
he doesn't budge.
Yeah, Owen's got to do a really good job of just protecting himself. But if you need he gets an early one, right? You got to put somebody in for a little bit, bring him back in, with 12, 13 minutes to go in the half, and if he gets another one, I guess. See what happens, but we're going to have to use some of those other guys on the bench for sure.
So are Dix and Peyton Sanford, are they both NBA players in your mind? Not to put you on the spot.
I love Dix's game. Not that I don't like Peyton's. I do. Josh gets it's a quiet 31. He was 10 of 14 from the field, 7 of 10 from 3, 4 from the free throw line, but then, had 6 rebounds, 7 assists, 4 steals.
So efficient.
I mean, he's so efficient.
And he's 6'6".
And he's 6'6", and he's longer, right? I mean, he's a 6'6" that's got some longer arms.
Yeah.
Can really handle the ball well. And I think, Fred in the postgame, too, I listened to what he had to say because I've always liked him, and I think he does a good job. And he just said, Josh Dix, probably one of the most underrated guys in the league.
I would agree. I mean, I think he's their best NBA prospect. No knock on Peyton. Peyton obviously has a chance. The NBA is interested in him. But when I look at Dix, I see maybe a possible NBA player. I mean, because he is sick.
And again, it's not to put anything against Peyton. There's not many guys in college that can score 30 points and a half.
I mean, Peyton is when Peyton is on, he is. That's why I see him maybe being a Duncan Robinson type guy in the NBA. Now he is about an inch or two shorter. And Adam, when you're 6'6" or 6'7" as opposed to 6'8", 6'9", doesn't that make a difference?
Makes a difference. And part of it too is how quick you can get that shot off.
True.
I think that's one thing with Peyton's mechanics. It does not take him long to get a shot off.
No,
I mean, it is almost too fast at times, in my opinion. But he's special. When he gets going like that, there's not much you can do. And I think in that second half, people were like, well, why wasn't Nebraska doing this or this? Well, you had Josh Dix on the other side, racking up 31 points. It was good to see those two in tandem.
It was.
Huge second half and really get us back in control of that game.
I think the difference between Dix and Peyton is Josh Dix had 16 points one half, 15 points the other half. Peyton was 0, one half, and 30 the other one, and they both had 6 rebounds.
No, you're right. Yep. Now, there was a game recently where Josh had 14 in the first half and then just 2 in the second half, and they lost. I can't remember. But, no, I think with Owen Freeman, Drew Thelwell, Dix, and Peyton, that's 4 really good scorers. Harding at times, I think, dribbles too much and whatever, but he still is a pass-first point guard. No, they're what are they? They're 2-2. They're fine. They're right in the mix. My opinion of the men, just like the women. If Fran gets them in the tournament, job well done. Is that your thought, Adam?
Yep, I would agree with that.
To me,
I think it's totally possible. The weird thing, too, that we've got going on, right? Thelwell, heel injury, pre-game, didn't play. You got Cooper was out, too, with the respiratory deal.
He's probably going to be out.
Injuries here. We've had some stuff going on.
Well, Seydoux was out for a while, and Cooper's probably out. It sounds like he may be out for the rest of the year. They're even talking about a medical red shirt.
Yeah, I mean, some of that, we just need some consistency, with those guys getting healthy and kind of getting into this kind of lineup where, Price had 35 minutes, and we didn't even bring him up. He had a great game.
He did.
He sure did.
He sure did.
Points.
Yeah.
3 assists, 4 rebounds. I mean, these guys are playing well. And the thing, too, that I tell you guys all the time, I love it, being an Iowa guy. I love seeing these guys, that we've watched in high school and guys around the Midwest that, Josh Dix and Owen Freeman and Harding, right down the road. It's good to see these guys play well together. I think we can play great team basketball and knock off some pretty good teams here in this back half of the year.
I know I'll sound corny saying this, but they're also good guys, too. I mean, I've been around these guys. I mean, the Sanford brothers, they're good. I mean, Josh Dix, they're all really good people. I think Captain would have a better chance of showing up on the police blotter than any of them. I mean, they're good people. And it was funny, when I rode down the elevator at Carver the other day before practice with Peyton and Price. You don't realize how big they are, too. Peyton Sanford is a legitimate 6'7", so is his brother. Yeah. They're big. On TV, they don't look near as big, but just a guy like me, 6-foot guy, they're big guys. I mean, Peyton, Adam, if Peyton was 6'2".
He's got a big frame on him, yeah. I mean, he can guard that forward position.
Yeah.
And he can bang a little bit, and, obviously they're both really athletic and kind of sneaky. You watch some of Price's stuff, he's maybe a little more athletic than Peyton, but, watch his highlights from Waukee days. And
yeah, he's
knocking on guys left and right. I mean, sometimes we take for granted how athletic that group is that we've got.
No, you're right. I think we do. And Tom, anything else? This has been fun. We could go on. I do want to say
it has been fun.
I want to say your former coach. I feel for him. Nevada's struggling, but he's upset now because they've had a couple games where the band's not playing, and he was upset that they didn't have a band. And I want to give you a chance to defend your coach. No band. First it was bats, and now there's no band. What's going on out
when
there?
We talked earlier in the year, it was bats. Now it's bands.
Now they don't have a band showing up, and all Alfred said is, hey, can't we just have a band? What do you think, Adam? I'm on Alfred's side on this. How about you, Captain? Give him a band.
I could go off at any time.
I know you could.
Okay.
Could you have hit some threes in the Wisconsin game if you had the Wisconsin uniform on? I do, too.
I think I could. I think you could have.
Yeah.
I think you would have had some time. Well, Adam, hopefully next we'll try what do you think? Try to do this maybe. I'd like to get at least 2 or 3 games played before we get you. We'll try either maybe late next week or within the next week to 10 days. We'll try to fit it into your schedule. How's that?
Absolutely. Hey, quick question for you. Maybe what are they thinking next week for us? Iowa men are going to be at USC.
Well, Fran addressed that. He said, well, here, he basically said nothing has changed right now. I think what they're waiting to see is if the UCLA women play on Sunday. He brought that up. Now, the Lakers game was postponed last night. Yep. If the UCLA women play on Sunday, then he thinks everything will be okay. But as of yesterday, nothing had been – of course, they're discussing it, but no decisions had been made. It was still business as usual as of yesterday.
Okay.
Well, yeah, that's definitely – they play Tuesday and Friday.
It's going to be a little different for Iowa, mid-season. Granted, we're not in classes right now, but – they'll probably just stay out there that,
Oh, I'm sure they will. They play Tuesday and Friday. Yeah, no, that's going to be a tough – they just need to avoid losing both those games. And UCLA's not – I mean, UCLA got beat by like 15 at Nebraska, so they're not unbeatable. So, yeah, and the UCLA coach just called his players out saying he has way more passion than them, and he basically just ripped them, went off. So it'll be interesting to see.
It's interesting some of the coaches calling them out, right, or even just making it known. I always laugh because even when I was in college, right, like especially Iowa State, hey, I'm going to go out to the press. I'm going to tell them everything's fine. But you get the real story in the locker room.
Sure.
But I think it's funny when some of these coaches do.
Yeah, no.
Alford did it a little bit too, just to motivate guys. You kind of call a group of seniors out or some players individually to get them motivated. But
yeah, some coaches just can't help. That was one of the things about Alford that bugged me. Mm-hmm. He just had a tendency to sometimes throw his players out. Now, he never did you because you didn't really do anything that, you were one of his best players. So, but, whatever that's, I still think, the guy needs a band. Get the guy a band.
I think sometimes it's good to throw your
employees under the bus.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, this last half of this show could be fun.
That's under.
All right, well, Adam, thank you so much, and go Hawks.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. I'll be in touch here in the next week or so.
Yeah, have a great weekend, guys.
All right.
Take care. Go Hawks.
Yep.
Go Hawks.
That was a quick half an hour.
Sure was.
Yeah, we're lucky to have Don and Adam.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah, we really are. Yeah. And, but yeah, like I said, I'm not panicking over the women right now. It's a disappointment. Last night was their first, what I would call a real disappointment.
It was a disappointment.
I mean, to lose at Tennessee was, although Tennessee did lose at home to LSU last night, because Tennessee's not that good. But that loss at Michigan State, that's Michigan State's better than Illinois. At least I don't know, where are they now? What's Michigan State doing right now?
Michigan State
Where's their record?
They're about in the same area that we are.
I just think Iowa, looking at Iowa, they're going to struggle to win some games on the road this year, which means and they've already lost one at home. They've got to protect that home court.
Michigan State's 2-2. Oregon 3-2, Nebraska 3-2, Illinois 2-3.
See, all those teams you just named off, Iowa could easily lose to all of them on the road.
It did. And
and
to
could
Michigan
lose
State
to them
and
at home.
Illinois.
But I like their chances against. I like their chances at home against really everyone but USC, UCLA, and Maryland, obviously. Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, if they were able to beat USC or UCLA at home, more power to them, because that would be quite the accomplishment.
That'd be fantastic.
And I know the crowd will be rocking that day, but the crowd at Maryland was rocking, and Juju only had 21. It's not like she's getting. They have other really good players.
No, that's a real good team.
Extremely athletic.
Yes.
Hello.
I know you're up against a break, so I'll make it quick. It's not all that disappointing with the women, because if you look at it, I read online that that's only the first time since Caitlin was a freshman that we've gone back-to-back losses.
22.
And that says a lot about the program.
Actually, it was her soft. It was 22. November 27th, 22, December 1st, 22. So 22, 23. That would have been her. Actually, that would have been her junior year.
Would it?
Yes, it was.
Okay, that was her junior year.
Somebody must have missed.
Yeah, I mean, Iowa had it in the notes. It was her junior year. They lost to Maryland. They lost Connecticut and North Carolina State in late November and early December.
Well, Connecticut couldn't have been considered a bad loss, with that program's history and everything with Gino. And that would be
for sure.
That would not have been a bad loss. I don't even think the Maryland loss was bad. I think I liked how the team showed spirit. At the end, they didn't give up and just, let the game get away from them completely. They didn't make a comeback. They just couldn't get over the hump. So
because they dug too deep of a hole. You can't beat a good team dropping 25, giving them a 25-point cushion.
Yeah, but you could have just stuck your head in the sand and called it a day, and just but they didn't do that. And I love the fighting spirit that they had, and I think that's going to benefit them down the road. I see good things still. I still think we're going to get get into the tournament again this year, and hopefully, if everything works out okay, we'll get a host, the first and second round again, which would be amazing.
It would be real tough.
Yeah.
We got to win some games we're not supposed to.
You're up against a break, and I know how Pat likes his break. So
he does. He does. Thanks for the call, and we will be right back.
1-800-800-ROSE. 1-800-800-ROSE. Your FTD florist is the only number you need to know to send flowers anywhere in the country or Canada from anywhere in the country. 1-800-800-ROSE. It's so easy. Just remember one number. 1-800-800-ROSE. Your FTD florist. 1-800-800-ROSE. Remember,
don't wait for an emergency to get a backup for your car keys. Unlike the olden days, car keys have gotten extremely complex. Mike's eKeys for Cars can generate the most technically advanced automotive keys that are on the market today. For spares and lost keys, Mike's eKeys for Cars can produce most conventional transponder, high security, and remote head keys. Mike's eKeys for Cars will keep you on the road. Call 319-330-9185 and schedule an appointment today. Don't wait until it's too late. Call 319-330-9185 today.
For a gift that your loved one will treasure for a lifetime, find it at our family-owned jewelry store in Iowa City, Harty and Stocker Jewelers.
We can show you diamond engagement rings, colored stones, fashion jewelry, and watches.
Our jewelers are on site, so we can design jewelry for that special person in your life.
We are Harty and Stocker, serving Iowa City and the surrounding area for 3 generations.
Harty and Stocker Jewelers, downtown Iowa City, and HartyandStockerJewelers.com. Ask for Willa, Terry, Tim, or Kate. One of us is always there.
When someone is kind enough to share their time with us, we better make it worth their while.
They don't want to do people call it the game, right?
Patrick Eads and Terry Adams of Dairy Brothers Ford talk about what Here For You means to them.
You don't have to spend a half a day in our dealership to get that good competitive price. We just want to try to deliver that to you up front.
And that makes me feel good, makes me proud.
Because that's what people want. They want a fair, honest deal.
As far as a statement here for you, we want to not just say it, but live it.
Find out what it means to you at Deary Ford in Iowa City.
GT Carr, owner of Supple's Building and Remodeling, has been offering unmatched service and quality for over 25 years. The trained professionals at Supple's Building and Remodeling will install and guarantee the products used in any job, no matter how big or small. They also stand behind their work and offer no-nonsense, exceptional customer service from design to completion and beyond. Whether it's a simple window replacement or a major house addition, you'll have the confidence that Supple's Building and Remodeling is committed to quality. Visit Supple's.net or call them today at 319-337-2246. When you go to a family restaurant, you want three things. 1, a wide selection of breakfast, lunch, and dinner items. 2, you want those selections to be affordable and delicious. And 3, you want to be treated like family. You get all three at the Midtown Family Restaurant. Breakfast items available anytime the doors are open. Legendary tenderloins, onion rings, and hot roast beef sandwiches, and special ribeye and shrimp nights. Daily specials at each location, and no matter if you're coming in solo or with a group of 20, you get the same special family treatment. The Midtown Family Restaurants at Court and Scott Streets and at the Walmart Plaza on Highway 1 West. Follow them on Facebook or at MidtownFamily.com. The family's waiting for you.
Diamond Dream Sports Academy, 20,000 square foot indoor facility, holds 8 batting cages, space for infield work, space for throwing and pitching, and all your arm care needs. Offers private instruction, group lessons, camps and clinics, leagues, memberships. Rentals available at Diamond Dreams is open to the public.
Our top-level instructors include former professional, college, and Olympic athletes. Our coaches will help these athletes achieve their full athletic potential, develop a strong work ethic, and a solid base to build. The last thing you want to do is look back and wish you had worked or played harder.
Locally owned and established in 2005, Diamond Dreams is Eastern Iowa's premier training facility. Located at 2905 Stoner Court, North Liberty. Call today and reserve your time. 319-665-2173. 319-665-2173.
This is Leah Pasha, and I've been saying, hit a deer, call Premier, for years. But it's time for something new. It's still where you need to go for deer divots and door dings, as well as damaged dashboards. That's what my dad Nathan's driving at and dreams about. Why not say, when your car is dinged, be a deer and call Premier? I think Dad's going to love that. Premier Automotive, North Liberty's premier auto body repair shop.
Be a deer and call Premier Auto Body in North Liberty.
Don't let just anyone take care of your smile. At Diamond Dental, you can expect compassion, expertise, and a personalized care plan to protect your teeth for life. With more than 30 years of combined experience, Dr. Forbes and his staff are prepared to tackle even your toughest dental problems, leaving your smile healthy and sparkling. Diamond Dental offers a full range of general and cosmetic dentistry, as well as dental treatment options for snoring and sleep apnea. It's never too early to start thinking about what's best for your smile. Schedule an appointment today by calling 319-390-3703 or visiting the office at 5815 Consul Street Northeast, Suite D1 in Cedar Rapids. You can also visit DiamondDentalPC.com for more information. Dr. Forbes is a proud sponsor of the Hawkeye Wrestling Club and the Inner Circle. Let the Diamond Dental team provide superior care for your entire family.
Dear U of I, just a note to let you know, if you're ever thinking about selling Kinnick Stadium or Carver Hawkeye Arena, please consider Hawkeye Title and Settlement. We're here to provide efficient, high-quality real estate title and closing services. Signed, Hawkeye Fan Forever, and send. Hi, this is Steve Anderson with Hawkeye Title and Settlement. Whether it's a large commercial property or if you're buying your first home, remember, we're here to help. Hawkeye Title and Settlement Services of Iowa City. You'll love our team just like you love the Hawks.
Are you tired of living in a home that doesn't quite meet your needs? Then it's time to call the experts at Streets Maintenance. Their team of skilled professionals specializes in renovations and remodeling, transforming your home into the space you've always dreamed of. From kitchen bath remodels to complete home renovations, no job is too big or too small. Streets Maintenance will work with you every step of the way to ensure your vision becomes a reality. So don't wait any longer. Call Streets Maintenance to schedule your consultation at 400-4483. Let's start building your dream home today.
So the holiday season is winding down, and you know what that means. The dreaded chore of taking down the outdoor Christmas lights. The cold, the wind, the tangled cords, the burned out light strands. You can't wait to just shove them into a box and worry about them next year. Wouldn't you rather leave those lights up and customize them for different holidays all year long? Well, now you can with Illumalight's permanent outdoor lighting from Big Dog Tech. Illumalight's provides illumination for every occasion, holiday lighting, accent lights, security, and of course lighting for all your favorite sports. The Illumalight's app lets you create your own patterns with color, motion, brightness, and static control over every individual light, or use Big Dog's presets to transform your home or business. The professionally installed track system makes Illumalight's LEDs virtually disappear until you turn them on. Rated at 50,000 hours, you'll enjoy stress-free convenience for years to come. For more information about Illumalight's permanent outdoor lighting, go to BigDogTEK.net or give them a call at 319-395-0800. That's 319-395-0800.
Hi, this is Jill Sterner with Sterner Taxidermy in Lone Tree. It's hunting season again, and I'm inviting all of you hunters to follow us on our Facebook page. You can view Dirk's award-winning artistry, his workmanship that he completes with each individual piece. We can be reached at 319-330-1774. Again, 319-330-1774.
Hello, this is Bill Leixnering from the Oxyoke Inn, inviting you to a place where you have your choice of 4 portion sizes. And when you order our famous family style, you can take your leftovers home. To a place where you can make reservations online at oxyokeinn.com or by calling and speaking to a person at the Oxyoke. A place where, compared to a hotel, our private banquet rooms are very affordable. But most important, our fresh food is prepared to order, and our servers have a passion for serving you. At the Oxyoke, we've been practicing since 1940, serving daily with a brunch buffet on Sundays. Oxyoke Inn, in the heart of Amana, where you'll always leave happy.
From the Hertin and Stalker Studios in the heart of the Hawkeye Nation, this is the mighty 1630 KCJJ, Iowa City.
Hertin and Stalker Jewelers, making memories, making moments.
Mostly cloudy today with a few off and on flurries at times. Our high right around 30 this afternoon with wind out of the northwest at 5 to 15. We'll probably see a few glimpses of sunshine at some point this afternoon, but it won't be a lot. Tonight, partly cloudy, 16. Tomorrow, some sun in the morning, cloudy by afternoon with a high of 31 with some light snow possible late Saturday night into Sunday morning. We'll get to 34 on Sunday. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable on the mighty 1630 KCJJ. Currently, it's 28.
KCJJ weather. Brought to you by Plum Supply.
Plum Supply kitchens and baths. Your home never looks so beautiful.
We're back.
We are back.
We're back.
Had to go through the process of getting Big Ten Plus last night to watch the game because there's enough of them coming up in the next couple months where it was worth the outlay for me.
Yeah.
But finally, though, for the first time, they have an app that you can download, so I don't have to bring my computer and hook it up in through the TV.
I wonder if they put that on my Sony. Because you got a Samsung.
Yeah, that was my upstairs one. My downstairs is the newer TV. It doesn't have Big Ten Plus on it.
Did you update it?
I don't know. What do you mean?
Then you didn't update it. Well, there's an update that you can get for the TV, the whole TV. And if you don't have it on automatic, then you got to manually update it.
Sure.
Well, it's in the settings.
And so you click automatic update or?
Yeah.
Oh.
Shut up.
Wait,
all right, Peacock Boy.
Wait, I'm sorry, I fell asleep.
Peacock.
Peacock Boy. I was watching Peacock. I had Peacock on one TV and YouTube on the other, wheeling and dealing. Mediacom my ass. That's what I was saying. What do you think of that?
Yeah.
And YouTube's thinking, yeah, we'll talk to you in 3 years after we've raised our prices another $80. They only went up $7 this next year.
It'll go up.
Then next year will be 15 to 20.
But MediaCom was going to keep going up too.
Oh, yeah.
So we already discussed that. So.
Oh, yeah.
Well, what might stem the tide is there's a new kind of TV, ASTC3 or whatever the hell, that will actually be its own broadband. And so instead of the TV stations having to, keep hiking their rates, the local ones, they'll be able to take your TV, see your location, and if there's a business around you that wants to advertise to somebody like you, you'll get that commercial, and I might get a different commercial.
I wish I could just turn on a TV, go and have like this big, massive field of channels to pick, download like an app. And next thing you know, I've got like 11 different channels, and I'm paying like $6.99 each one. And it would be my 11 that I watch.
Of course.
80. But will that ever happen?
Will
that ever happen?
A cafe plan, that's exactly what it should be.
A cafe plan, yes. So,
because I got
like Bishop's
600 channels that I wouldn't watch on a bet.
Well, YouTube's got 90% of them I never even click on. But probably 90. There's like 6 or 7 of them that I watch. So I wish I could just go through a cafe buffet, like you say, and just pick and have them all be anywhere between $5.99, $10. Will it ever be like that, you think?
Well, if you ask me, no. But there'll be less channels.
Well, they're fine with me. I mean, there's way too many.
Yeah.
Why does YouTube have so many what I would say are just useless channels? What's the point in having them?
Because somebody's watching
Somebody must be watching them?
There's somebody's watching them, and, they're getting probably a cut.
Have you seen the Zen thing of the pastry cooking?
No.
You haven't seen that one?
I don't have.
It looks like I can't tell if it's dinner rolls or some type of but they show it brownie, and it's the strangest. It is the strangest thing.
You watch.
It's either that or penguins and polar bears.
I'm not.
And the more obscure channel you watch, the longer it is.
Yeah, because
they don't have any advertising.
They don't have any advertising.
Yeah, so it's interesting.
Yeah.
But, all right, back to the Hawks.
We haven't talked much about your Notre Dame Penn State game last night.
Well, I mean, the listeners here hate Notre Dame, and why would they want to listen to me blab about Notre Dame?
Love Notre Dame.
But
it
our
was the
listeners hate
national
Notre Dame.
semifinal. It's an important game.
True, but would you agree that our listeners hate Notre Dame?
Yes.
Hate.
Yeah, but
So,
you got to get over it sometime, this fading Irish.
It was 70 years ago.
I know.
70 years ago.
It isn't that, Pat. It's the elitism. It's the NBC. We have our own channel.
Well, I understand
and we're
that,
too
but,
good to join a conference.
It's not like Notre Dame's putting a gun to NBC's head. I mean, I think
I
think Iowa or any school would be bragging if they had their own channel.
Well, now, why does Notre Dame show up on like ABC?
That's what I've never understood that anymore either. I don't get it.
Because I saw
they've been on different channels. I don't. If anyone knows why that is, please let me know. I will say though, Notre Dame's a really good team.
Yes, well, they
I'll
are.
tell you, this Marcus Freeman is the real deal. Even if they lose, I still think Ohio State's the best team. If every team plays up to their potential. And Notre Dame has a significant loss on their defensive line. Their best defensive lineman's out, Riley Mills. That's a big loss. And I didn't realize their best cornerback's been out almost the whole year. Ben Morrison, I believe is his name. He was an All-American. So they've had some significant losses. And for him to hold this team together after that Northern Illinois debacle, that's impressive. Now they just better keep him because other teams in
Oh, my God.
they're going to come after this guy.
Well, they should.
Because he seems to be perfect on and off the field, never says the wrong field. They had a video of him. He was doing some podcast, and he decided, everyone talks about how busy they are. He's like, he wanted to see what his wife goes through. They have 6 kids between the ages, all school age. So one morning he decided, it's not like his wife went in and did his job at work, but he decided to do his wife's job of getting all 6 kids ready for school, and his wife was somewhere else. And he said during that time he called his wife with just not knowing what to do with, do you let them watch TV before? No, they don't watch TV. And he said by the time he was done, he goes, I could not imagine doing that every single day of the school. He goes, it's incredible what my wife goes through. And it was neat because it gave him even more of an appreciation of what she does.
Yeah. Well, no, raising children is
especially 6.
Incredible. I can't even imagine having 6.
Now, it does help that he's got a ton of money. I mean, that does help. I mean, he's making, but he just said it was overwhelming. He couldn't believe what his wife goes through. It was really a neat segment.
What about the 12 children? 12 children.
Well, he doesn't raise any of them, does he?
5.
Doesn't one of them hate him?
What I like about Freeman is when he's interviewed by the sideline reporters, most coaches look like, I don't have time for this.
He acts like it matters.
He acts like it matters.
He treats them with respect.
He
really does. And to think they went from Brian Kelly to this, good riddance, Brian Kelly. I didn't like him when he was at Notre Dame. My dad would have loved Marcus Freeman. He would have liked him in so many ways.
No, he's the real deal.
My dad hated Brian Kelly. And my dad was a coach and a disciplinarian, whatever. But the way Brian Kelly would humiliate his players in public and spit all over him when he's screaming. And my dad just.
Well, I will tell you, if Texas beats Ohio State, I will go out and buy some Notre Dame merch.
You hate Texas more than Notre Dame?
Absolutely.
Why is that?
Texas. I've always hated Texas.
Okay. I don't really have a lot of hate for. I know you're talking sports hate. I've never really.
Of course.
I guess I've never really considered liking or disliking Texas.
I don't like Texas.
No, and now they're at SEC. No, I don't. I can't. There's no reason for me to ever pull for Texas.
No,
Notre Dame is at least Midwest.
Yeah, and I will be cheering for Ohio State tonight, even though I think Notre Dame has a better chance of beating Texas. I think Ohio State's better than Texas if they both play up to their game. But Ohio State's shown at times this year that they don't always play up to their game. But when they do, I think they're the best team.
I think maybe the Michigan game may have finally opened their eyes, saying, "Look, this is ridiculous."
Yeah, and either way, college football got what it wanted. They have Notre Dame in against either Texas or Ohio State. Think about it.
Yeah.
Think about it. I know it wasn't all. There was some potholes along the way. Some of the games were competitive. For the most part, this thing's been pretty good. I do agree with Don Patterson. I'd much rather have 8 and not have any buys for anybody and have them only need 3 games to win as opposed to 4. I mean, is the winner? Let's see. Notre Dame improved to I think they improved to 14-2 last night.
I think
Notre Dame's going to play 17 games.
Yes, they are.
That's an NFL schedule. To me, that's just too much for college kids. But hey, money, I get it.
Well, Ohio State's going to play 17
Yeah,
too.
no, same thing.
No,
they didn't.
18. Aren't they? Because they played in the Big Ten championship.
No, Penn State did.
Oh, you're right.
No, Ohio State's going to only play 16. They're going to play 1 less, I believe.
Oh, that's right.
So, what's so funny?
Nothing. I got butt dialed.
You did?
Oh.
GT from Suple's.
Oh, hi, GT.
Well, he's gone now. Got butt dialed.
Looks like you enjoyed the conversation. You were smiling.
I like him.
Okay, you were smiling the whole time.
He's a good guy.
There you go.
Fixed up my house. He's a good guy.
All right.
He's got to fix up the. I got other stuff for him to do.
You think he hung up that thing out? That idiot from the radio station butt dialed me. You think that's what he said?
He was listening to us.
Was he? Okay.
Yeah.
You don't think he referred to you as the idiot?
No.
Maybe he refers to me as the idiot from the radio. Am
He
I the
said-
idiot from the radio?
Yes.
Hey, that idiot you bring in 3 times a week from Hawk, whatever, Hawk, blah, blah. Is that what he said?
So, gun to your head, Pat. Which team, the Iowa men or the Iowa women, have the best chance of making the NCAA tournament?
That's a tough question. I would have said the women until last night.
I would too.
Now I'm saying I'm going to give the men a slight edge just because I think the men don't have a USC and a UCLA and a Maryland. I don't think. Mm-hmm. But a slight edge. But I still think they're both right now. I'm 51-49 percentage-wise thinking they're both going to get in, which means I'm not overly confident, but I'm not ready to give up on either.
I never saw people jump. It was ridiculous. Well, maybe she can't coach. Maybe we made the wrong decision.
Yeah, I mean, again, they would not be 5.
BS.
Lisa wouldn't be 5-0 right now in the
No.
Big Ten.
Yeah.
And Lisa's a great coach. She's a legend. You just got to be realistic.
They just seemed to jump quicker.
Last night was their first. Well, because she's not Lisa Bluter. Last night was their first bad loss.
Yeah,
I don't think the other losses were bad.
I agree.
So, but they can't afford too many. You get 2 or 3 of these losses that you would call bad. Next thing you know, you're struggling to stay 500 in the conference.
Well, and that's because we've got 3 more games that we're probably not going to be win.
To me, when I saw that the USC and UCLA games were here, I looked at that negatively, since they're not playing them twice, because they're more than likely going to lose those games, and those will be home losses as opposed to being predictable road losses, if that makes sense.
It makes 100% sense.
And so I didn't necessarily think that was a great thing having. Now, if they upset them, yes, great. And there's always that chance. There's a chance.
There is.
I mean, Lucy, I think, has been in sort of a shooting funk, but I think what they're doing, Aaliyah Guyton allows Lucy to play off the ball. I think Lucy having to play so much point guard, I think it's starting to wear on her a little bit. Her shot, at times I think she's looked tired. She's having to do so much. She's not Caitlin Clark. She's a shoot-first, mid-range shooting guard. And I think putting Aaliyah in at point allows Lucy to do more of that. I asked Jan about that early in the season. She's like, we're not there yet, but I could see us someday getting there. I think they're there now. Aaliyah's just got to play better. Aaliyah's just got to play better.
Exactly.
She had a great opportunity last night to solidify that starting position, but I'm not sure if she played well
She's
enough.
just not quite ready.
Yeah. Hello.
What Big Ten team do you think they have the best shot at beating that's ranked?
I don't know which ones are ranked. You'd have to tell me who are ranked right up.
What, women?
Well, not USC or UCLA.
women.
Yeah, Oregon's ranked.
Oregon, I don't think so.
Oh, they're not ranked?
I
Okay, I know.
Let me see if I have them.
I mean, obviously,
USC,
Maryland.
UCLA.
UCLA,
Maryland.
USC, Ohio State, and Maryland are all
Of
top
those
10.
4, I'd say Ohio State.
They're top 10.
Yeah, I'd say Maryland is, but they will probably drop out of the top 10 after losing because they were 8th. But no, I would say of those 4, Ohio State.
Because they haven't, I take Iowa State out of it because they're not as good as everybody thought. They haven't beaten a ranked team yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Iowa State they've been very disappointing. I thought they would be much better. So.
And then lastly, do you think Campbell has a shot at the Bears?
Well, he interviewed, so he must. I mean, I know they're interviewing. I mean, Hunter, I think, interviews on Saturday. They're interviewing everybody, but he did interview.
Well, hopefully people don't start leaving there if they think he might get it. Because they got a pretty good team coming back.
Well, I'm guessing Tom and Iowa, a lot of Iowa would love for Matt Campbell.
I would love for Matt Campbell to be the next Bears coach for 2 reasons. One, I think he's a good coach, and the second,
because then you would hope that maybe that would cause Rocco Beck to maybe leave Iowa State and would cause the Iowa State program to unravel. And
I would be okay with that.
That's what you want, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
you would like Iowa State's football
Iowa
team
fan.
to suck, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with it. That's being a fan.
Oh no, sorry. I mean,
that's being a fan. No,
and I can also objectively say that even though the game was really close, Iowa State had a better season than Iowa.
And you're an honest fan because you've always said you are willing to admit you'd rather travel the path of least resistance.
Indeed.
You don't need to be a hero. You just need to be a winner, right? No heroes in here, Captain.
No,
just winners.
Well, I don't know about that.
But so those are the 4 Big Ten teams that are ranked.
Or that are top 10.
Top 10.
There's Michigan State was ranked.
I don't think they are anymore.
They might fall out.
And has Nebraska ever been ranked this year? Obviously, we know Wisconsin, Purdue, Minnesota, Illinois. No.
Well, let me see.
But of those 4 that he mentioned, would Ohio State be the one that you would pick as the one you think Iowa has the best chance against?
Well, we have to play them there.
I mean, well, okay. I thought he was just saying just head-to-head. I mean, obviously, they already lost to Maryland at home, so we have our answer there.
Yeah, we do.
You know, and I don't think Maryland's as good. Well, they're not as good as USC. We saw that.
Yeah. But they're close.
And UCLA might be. Well, they did lose by 5 at home.
Yeah.
And UCLA, aren't they even supposed to be better than USC?
Yes.
So we'll see.
Well, they have no losses, and
a
UCLA,
6'8" center.
USC has one.
Sports pundit, famous sports pundit in the chat room, Frank Harty. Matt Campbell has a 0.25 chance of being the next Bears coach. Don't waste your breath.
Probably true. Doesn't mean you can't say it'd be okay. I'd be okay with it because I would be okay with it.
My nephew has great Chicago Bears sources.
Yeah.
Higher ups. Yeah. So I'd believe what he says. He did interview, but man, they've literally interviewed like 8 or 9 right now. It's just every time I turn on, I see the Chicago Bears Twitter. It's somebody that they just they interviewed Pete Carroll. He's older than you guys. They did. I think he's 73. He just interviewed.
Not older.
Pete Carroll's 73. I'm younger than Pete.
I think that's what they said. He's 70.
Older than Pete.
Yeah.
But no, they just interviewed him, and so we'll see. I mean, there's I think they want to interview the offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions. I believe his name is Ben Johnson. I think that's another one they'd like to interview. But Campbell's 45 years old. If he's going to leave, this is the time. This kind of reminds me of Kirk in 2002. Remember, Kirk almost left for the Jaguars after leading Iowa to an 11-win season, but he decided to stay. If I'm predicting Campbell won't be who they pick, it's easier to pick the field in a case like this. But the fact that he interviewed means, some of these Iowa State people are like, oh, he'll never leave. He's going to be in it. You don't know that. You just don't know that.
You don't know what his aspirations are. Obviously he's got some level of interest, or
he
wouldn't have
interviewed. Exactly. So we'll see. Yeah, I was surprised when I saw that.
And now I heard some message board nerd said he was also interviewing with the Jets. Have you heard that?
I have not heard that. But if it's on the message board, then, it's true.
Then it might be, or it might not be.
Message board, Captain. What do you think?
Well, it's the same as Twitter. It might be true and it might not be, and you need to check it out.
Message boards.
Have you seen Facebook after they pulled off the
they're not fact
checkers? No, and they've got pictures. And then people are posting pictures of Zuckerberg in compromising
with
poses.
a rat penis transplant.
Yeah, had a rat penis transplant. They're posting all these fake stories about him. And they're just going through.
We're just a mess.
Yeah. Honest to God.
You thinking of moving to Greenland?
No.
Nor am I.
No, I never was attracted to Greenland.
Nor am I. It's the size of it has Marshalltown has more people.
Yeah, well, I think they only have
48,500.
Okay, I thought it was 53, but same ballpark.
I've seen different figures, roughly around 50,000.
Yeah. I've always wondered about Canada. I've been drawn to Canada. I'm drawn to colder, and I don't know why, because I hate this weather now. But I've always been drawn to Canada. And I always wanted to see Alaska.
You do want to see Alaska. It's beautiful.
I'd like to see Alaska.
It's the most. It's almost alien. It's so. It's incredible. Yeah, you do want to see it.
In Alaska, there was some show where they showed Alaska's police force and how they deal with stuff, and it's way different.
Oh, for sure.
Isn't that where Lisa said she wanted to go, Bluter? Didn't she say that was one of her buckets?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I thought she said she wanted to go spend some time and shoot photography in Alaska.
Well, that's the place to do it, man. It's incredible.
Yeah.
They showed these guys that were drunk, and one of them drew a gun, and the cop comes up to him, takes the gun out, by the barrel, takes the gun out of his hand, and said, "You go home right now," and sends the guy home.
Yeah.
It's just odd.
Well, it's very predominantly male.
Yeah,
because you get get a lot of loose male cannons that don't want to deal with the constraints of
modern society.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, well, I could see that.
Yeah.
I could go loose cannon.
Might get eaten by a bear. Polar bears are all over up there.
Black bears are coming into the state.
Yeah. But they're not near as prevalent as polar bears.
Well, got to be a black bear.
DEI.
Yeah. DEI, Suter.
The polar bear tried to get in, and nope, go back. You're way too white.
Yeah.
We want that. Brown bears and black bears is all.
Yeah.
We got to balance things out. You think that's what it is? Now, that stuff in California is just absolutely a nightmare.
It is.
I love those homes in Malibu, and I've always fantasized about being able to live in not a big mansion, and they're all gone. They're just gone and laughing. A lot of them don't have insurance, and of course it's political on X, just left and right attacking each other, and just all the false accusations and the lies and the misinformation.
It shouldn't be political.
But it is.
No, they've had these freaking fires since recorded history.
Well, they're talking about the water pressure wasn't working. It wasn't that there wasn't water, and there was 100-mile-per-hour winds. Even the almighty Trump couldn't do anything against that.
Nobody.
His people act like he would just stand in front of the wind and say "stop," and it would stop, and it's not. It doesn't work that way. I
felt bad for my cousin's got.
I saw him on a YouTube. He was driving around the street, going around his neighborhood, showing all All the houses.
The house where he grew up.
They're all gone.
Gone. But you've seen 2.5 Men, the introduction at least.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I know the houses you're talking about. Yeah, they're Malibu, Rockford Files.
Yeah.
That was Malibu.
Yeah, they're all the opening of 2.5 Men always shows the houses on
right on the shore of Malibu. Most of them are gone.
Most of them.
I mean, Pacific Palisades is gone basically.
Yeah,
it was one of the nicest neighborhoods in the world, and they're gone. And I don't know how insurance is. I don't know how these. I mean, a lot of people are. I mean, just because you're a multimillionaire doesn't mean it's going to be easy to rebuild. Well, some of them may not want to build there again because they can't get insurance.
Yeah. Somewhat of that multi-million is your residence.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So
even though I've never understood how home equity counts as part of your worth, because it's only worth anything if you sell it and then you have to buy somewhere else. So I don't get that. I don't get why home,
because it's an asset.
I know, but it's not really money in your hands until you sell it, and then you need somewhere else to live.
Well,
that's what I don't understand.
True too. How
they count home equity as part of your net worth. I've never understood that. Make it make sense, Captain.
You got a house.
I do, and it's got about $150,000 to $200,000.
Okay, so you could sell it,
and then live underneath the Benton Street Bridge and say, "Hey, look at this money I got, guy.
Well,
hand me that Ripple."
Well, you could.
Hand me that. What's a Mad Dog? But I've never understood that.
But you could.
I could, and then you're okay. Yeah.
You could go down right under the Benton Street Bridge
with all my. But then they'd probably rob me if I had. Hey, look at all this money I got from selling my home. I don't know where to live.
They'd beat the hell out of you.
They'd beat the hell out of me.
Yeah,
and take your money.
Take my money and pour Mad Dog on me. Yeah, and then probably pee on me.
Yeah, and then try to get the game on BTN Plus.
And then they realize they're trying to mug
your stolen phone.
No, then they mug me, and they're like, "This clown owns that Hawk Fanatic. He ain't got nothing." And then they just dump me off. And then they just roll me down the hill into the street. You think that's what would happen?
Yes, exactly.
All right, back to the Hawks.
Back to the Hawks.
So then, what do we got else? I had a lot of people reach out to me and say they really enjoyed the Drew Thelwell interview, and actually some other media people were. Fran was asked yesterday about what Drew said about the
possible new year,
and Fran didn't. He goes, "Man, I sure hope so." I don't think it's possible though. I've been trying to look to see how he could do it. I think he played too much in all 4 of his years at Morehead State, and this is his COVID graduate year, you know. So, but we'll see. I think they're going to definitely. Well, Drew said he's going to definitely look into it. Boy, God, could they use him?
Man, that'd be great.
Could they use him next year when Peyton's gone? And I do think Josh Dix will be back. I don't think he's good enough to play in the NFL next year, and I think Josh Dix is too motivated to be a Hawkeye. Other schools will come after him.
You bet.
I guarantee you. You think Kansas would love to have Josh Dix next year?
Well, we're going to need to write Josh a check.
And Owen Freeman.
Yep.
Yeah, because other schools are going to come after those guys. But and then Iowa did get a commitment from Isaiah Johnson Arrigu, who's from Minneapolis. He did visit Iowa. He ended up picking Miami, I think, partly because of NIL and because Jim Larrañaga was the coach. He has since retired abruptly, and that gave these guys a 30-day window to find another place. He's coming here to Iowa, very athletic. So we'll just have to wait and see. I already saw some of the critics. He didn't play much for Miami. It didn't work out. That's part of the reason he's leaving. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, he's a 6'7", former 4-star, and I think the fact that he's coming here and they got the kid out of New York and the other kid, to me, whatever Fran's saying to these guys, they're convinced he's going to be around.
Yeah.
So, I mean, no, that was it looks like a decent addition, so we'll just have to see. And that's one of those where these midseason transfers, you're going to see more on that now. It's happened before. Didn't Sam Oakey transferred at mid-semester? Remember that?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I happened to actually break that story, and it was no investigative, grade of report. I was over there for something else. So I was working at the Press-Citizen, and I was over there to interview somebody else, and all of a sudden I see Tom Davis walking down the hall with Sam Oakey, And Davis saw me, and he's like, oh. And Davis was like, oh, this is like, you're like a baby in a candy store, aren't you? Because he knew, I mean, I had it. And now I just prayed that nobody else would. And I ended up breaking the story. Then he ended up committing later on that day, and then I had it. But back then, you would break, if you broke a story, you'd wait. Oh, God, I hope no other paper has it. And then you'd wake up in the morning to see the other. This is before the internet or anything. You'd wake up the next day to see if the other papers had it. And I remember I had the Okie one. We played it up big that he had visited, but only because I was there. I couldn't get any comment from either one. They wouldn't let me talk to him because rules and what have you. And unfortunately, he got hurt shortly after transferring. He had that one really good game, but remember, he got hurt and he never really did much. It never really materialized.
It was too bad because I sure liked
him.
He
could jump.
Yeah,
and he played well against Iowa in a few games.
He sure did.
And then I think he went on to own his own beauty salons. I think he did. I think he owned a chain of beauty salons, or at least one or two up in his home state of Wisconsin.
They call him Okie Dokie?
That maybe. I remember one of my colleagues when he played well against Iowa and they beat him. I think his lead was the Wisconsin Badgers were Okie Dokie on Saturday against Iowa. What do you think of that?
Yeah,
Okie Dokie.
Okie Dokie.
You like that?
We used to call the morning show at KFMH for a time. We called it the Okie Dokie Morning Show.
Yeah,
and I don't know why.
Okie Dokie's an old one. What does that mean? Does that mean everything's? That means everything's A-OK?
Yeah.
A-OK. A-OK.
Yeah.
Okay. And since his name was Okie, this reporter did kind of a play on words.
Here you go.
I was Okie and Hunter was Dokie.
Hey, Dokie. That's better than Dookie.
Oogie Dookie. But trying to think. Oh, do we have what's next for wrestling? I mean, who are the women going to obliterate next? I love
women wrestling at the NWCA National Duels in Cedar Falls on Saturday.
You think they have a chance to do well?
Friday and
Saturday.
Women? Of course.
I mean, you'll see, 44-1. I asked Lance what the score of 1 point is, and he explained it to me, and I forgot. But some of those, their opponents are just victims. They get pinned in like 20 seconds, just disassembled.
Men's wrestling this weekend is at Wisconsin on BTN Plus at 2 p.m.
And they'll destroy them.
Wisconsin, yeah.
They'll destroy them. And the women, I just want to say a prayer for all those opponents that are getting ready to face the Iowa women. Are you with me, Tom? Do you feel for them?
Feel for the opponents of the Iowa women?
Because you see some of the scores. They're just...
women wrestlers, yes.
They just dismantle them. They tear away their spirit and their will to live.
And it's still it's still got to be 5 to 10 years away from being very.
Lance said 3 to 5, I think. So yeah. But I mean, you knew that was going to happen. But Iowa at least is getting it. Somebody had to get it going. I give Iowa credit, but it's just some of the matches they're hard to, because there's just no drama. There's no. Even you, the path of Lisa Resistance, says this is a little bit too.
Well, no, there's no competition.
No. I feel sorry for the opponents, and you seem to get humor knowing that these opponents are getting just completely destroyed.
I absolutely
emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually.
Absolutely.
You want to. So your message to Clarissa Chun is just beat on them harder.
Yeah.
There's no.
I don't think you're working hard enough.
That one girl made it to the second period. What the hell?
Yeah. You're losing your stuff.
Why was she still breathing in the second period?
Wrestling is just the coaches too. It's a different breed from other sports.
Oh, it is. Oh, without question. I remember playing basketball at Dowling, and back then Dowling was really good in basketball and wrestling. We'd be practicing, and I'd be whining about having to do cigarette drills, and then meanwhile, there's some kid being taken out from the wrestling room, bleeding, and just and I'd be like, yeah, I picked the right sport.
Well, it's like you think that everything went well with the Brands, and then, he will always find something they could have done.
Well, especially now that they're not the dynasty. I mean, the Brandses are trying to find their place in a world where there's somebody else
that's better
in the midst of a dynasty.
Yeah.
I do think right now Iowa's narrowed the gap a little, and I do think they're the second best team in the country. Now, that's sort of I'm not saying moral victory, but I do, they've added some really good pieces to this wrestling team, and they've made Stephen Buchanan, the Parco kid, they've made a big difference. And I do think they've narrowed it somewhat, but Penn State is just, they're just a machine.
They are.
And they're very well coached. They have their Dan Gable.
They sure
and
do.
It's so similar because Sanderson didn't wrestle at Penn State, just like Gable didn't wrestle at Iowa. It's really a unique situation, but it's also intriguing to watch the Brands brothers try to slay this big giant, because they're used to be the big giants, and now they're the ones trying to, topple the
How
big
long
giant.
has Cale Sanderson been at Penn State? 10 years?
At least 10 years, because they won, I think, 9 out of the last 10. Yeah, it's probably closer to 15 now. So, yeah, he's done an incredible job, but he also knew what he was getting into.
Sure.
I mean, Iowa State couldn't compete with the resources or the recruiting territory. It's amazing that what Dan Gable was able to do, but wrestling's also come a long way since Dan Gable took over 50 years ago. There's way more competition now.
There is.
So
it's so interesting that probably the two best coaches wrestled at Iowa State.
Yeah.
And
neither one ended up coaching there for the long period. So, but yeah, no, I mean, you could Gable and Sanderson are the two best. I mean, Sanderson never lost and won a gold medal.
And Gable lost once.
So you'd have to rank Sanderson, I guess, 1 if you're going. And Gable, but clearly those were 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I mean, John Smith was a great wrestler.
Yes, he was.
But to me, it's Gable and Sanderson. So, but
yeah.
So yeah, we got that, and then and if women 2:00 on Sunday, men tomorrow night at 7. I'll be covering that. Dallas
both playing Indiana.
Both playing Indiana. Both need to win. Big games for both.
And they're going to be competitive games, or should be.
Yes. So, I think that's about it.
That's about it.
I think that's about it.
And again, we'll have Coach Patterson on Monday for a big season recap and talk about the championship, which I hope will be Notre Dame versus Ohio State. But we'll see. What time's that game on tonight? 6:30 again?
Yeah.
And is it ESPN again?
Yes.
Okay. Well, everybody have a good Friday.
Okay, Captain Steve and Tommy Lang got some police reports coming up, and HawkFanatic.com. Check it out. It's free.
KCJJ Weather, brought to you by Plum Supply.